That's where in my long back I told you, anybody who's typing my queries blindly, I don't think they are doing anything wonderful. So I am following the material perfectly. Follow, but are you following the concept I discussed in the class along with the material? Therefore, schools are always second level practice for you. If you are having the recorded session, the more the number of times you give the spool, the more the number of times you are going through the recorded session, you'll go on remembering the concept what I was dealing with you. So those arrangements yours, not mine. So you just look into the prospectus anytime. The same way you can say, assumption is the query is between 1950 to 1999. And can you tell me what is the correct century for this? In this way, he can give you century differences and he can ask you for questions on which indicator? RR indicator. He never asks you directly, do you know RR indicator? Dates can always give you into constructive trouble. And I hope you remember, when we kept a date format indicator, what is the maximum length the date format indicator can be? 22 characters. Okay? So the simple question that comes from your interviewer is, he says, I am having one date requirement from my end user. See the way he is asking the question. I am having one date requirement from the end user, and his requirement is making me use the format indicators which will become more than 22 characters. Then what I should do? Just do the date in such a way that which part of the date you want, you identify and cut and concatenate with the limitals. Don't give them insult. You know that date can be broken into pieces. The number of times the format element is increasing, don't worry. To what level you can attempt, you attempt it. The remaining what you cannot attempt, you make it as what? Separate once again, concatenate and give to the end user. But finally you have to give him what he needs. If Oracle gives you one limitation, that doesn't mean that following that limitation, you have to always get into a state saying that it's impossible. So when the format elements are more than 22 characters, cut your date to the mechanism of what you need and concatenate with the remaining number of processes that are expected. Find an alternate solution. Rather than saying that this is not possible, Oracle gave you limitation means that it is saying my rule is this. If anything is beyond this rule, try and attempt it another way. Oracle is not stopping you from that. Therefore, you can't be orthodoxical and say like I will be working only in this way. That's where beyond the books how many times you can think. Such kind of intelligence is called as out of the box intelligence. We also check how many number of times you have out of the box intelligence. Out of the box intelligence in the sense, 10 people in the world will say, no, it's not possible. Are you the 11th person who can make it possible? Such people survive in the industry. He just makes you get into one general confusion you watch. He says like, I'm developing a project for one restaurant. In restaurant, we always have one board on the menu called as what? Today's special. Yes or no? So the interviewer says like, my client is saying that instead of today's special, he wants the board in such a way that if it is Saturday, then it should be Saturday special. If it is Sunday, Sunday's special. Can you write a query that can give me an output of this particular type of requirement in my project? Student is so much confused that restaurant project means it's a very big project I have to develop. Now how I can do that in my interview immediately? It is a simple question to check whether you remember the day indicator along with your tocar. Along with day indicator is also concentrating you remember the FM or not. Question always follows through the concept that is demanded. I don't think we missed anything, man. The only difference is in the last 2 or 3 classes I was to the function directly. Today I am only brushing up, showing you that to the concept how you should think. You kept project in your resume. Do you know the business terminology of your project? That's technically your job. In the same way you just watched, this is a very common and very regular question. Can you convert any given number to words? Generally, instead of asking that, many times interviewer will ask you a question like, can you write a query that can spell the amount in words from the check? An amount is there on the check. I want you to spell that amount on the check. How many times you remember the SP indicator I gave you yesterday along with any date-oriented data? I told you spelling can be done directly on which numbers? Only on the numbers returned by the dates I said. Julian is a number returned by the date or not? Yes. So you are giving the number through the substitution. I am converting that number first into what now? Julian. Then on the Julian I am calling what now? To care. Here a few questions will come from the student. Julian starts from where? 1. So definitely a question will come from every batch. 1 or 2 students will come and say, so 0 is not getting spelled. Simple man. Check never contains 0. That's the reason your interview's question was very specific. Can you spell the amount on the check? And technically 0 is not being spelled, that's what you are feeling. But everything I taught you until now, if you remember, you can even spell 0 also. Think now. You have to think from your side. I'm not going to pamper you now. Remember this. Second thing, the definite another question a student raises is that I'm having a number which is a negative number. Negative numbers are never spelled. Your interviewer simply said very clearly, spell the amount on the check. Checks don't contain negative numbers. You will think to the context there. Don't think beyond the context. So you can't say that interview is wrong. Interview, that's the reason he said check amount. Second thing, you are thinking that this is unable to be spelled because I did not make arrangements there. If you remember every topic I covered until now, seriously, this also you can spell. You think now. So there's nothing like negative numbers you can't spell, it's wrong. You can. But you have to know how to think about it. Now I'm leaving the issue to you. Okay? I don't keep my hands into it. Because someday you should also feel that you can use your brain. So I'm unable to do that. That's your problem now. I don't support such people. Why? Because finally you should get your jobs, not me, I hope so. So some areas where you can put your pressure to really do it, think now. Third, this is another question what a student raises saying that, so if my check is having amount of suppose like decimal points, then what? Definitely decimal points are never spelled. But check can contain decimal figures. Now this also, if you can just concentrate very seriously, 150% it can be done. Where it can be done in such a wonderful way, 3456 dot. Okay, there is not dot, actually dot dot you can give them 50, not 50. Now put pressure on your brain now, how you can apply this. So these 3 things that look, it's not possible according to the example I gave. In this example, you fix yourself and if you think you will not get answers. Because I fixed my example with Julian. Julian cannot give any of those things. But definitely, if you think everything, starting off my function, still what I am ending on the process with single rows. If you can think, you will get your answers. In every batch I will say this, definitely few students will be reacting to the process. Let me see how many will react to this in your batch. So, start your work very seriously now. Now what is the difference between replace and translate that we have seen? Replace and translate, what's the difference? Replace works on pattern or pattern. Yes or no? Translate works with character to corresponding character. If that is very clear to you, you can definitely use every function in a wonderful way. That's what I said. We are closing single row functions, but application of functions and implementation cannot be closed. This is my original name, what I have, and this is my encrypted name. What I am using my translate. Maybe it's very simple. What I mean to say is, are you understanding the applicability of the function or the syntax of the function? That's where you have to keep your concentration. Who says that very simple things that are demanded can be done with functions very effectively, even though we are not too technical in the process? So it's so simple like, this is the name I'm having. Translate always works on character to corresponding character. S is available in the cell. Its corresponding character is bracket. Then A is available in the cell. Its corresponding character is this in the process. T is available in the cell. Its corresponding character is this. Your H is available in the cell. Its corresponding character is this. You're just using a function, a very simple composition to give a very simple encrypted state. If the same thing is attempted and we are moving, let us say, where this is my encrypted name definitely. This is an encrypted name. I am putting my encrypted name into the process here, where I am just saying that encrypted name. Now I am just expecting original name to come out of this. So I am calling my translate. In the place of the particular original name what I am having in translate, I am substituting this encrypted name. Then those characters have to be searched definitely in this list. If the corresponding position is found with that character, return me this. Now we are going with the concept of, select I am saying, decrypted name. And I am just executing through the construct. He's asking you one simple question, man, okay? I need a simple public key, private key, cryptographic state with Oracle functions. Can you give me which function can help? Fundamental questions. You can't say, sir, I don't know what is meant by public key, private key. That's what I said. You may be from any technology in the world. You want a job in software industry. Do you know the software standardizations of different areas first of all? You can't take yourself as excuse, sir, I am MBA, I am no BA, I am something else. Nothing will work there. See, when you started, you are a non-IT person. It's already 1 month or above. By this time you should know some level of IT requirements definitely. Therefore, your educational qualification cannot be an excuse for everything. People who think that I'll keep my educational qualification as a armor and I'll try to protect myself and technical question is asked. Sorry man, along with you, you should not forget, if you are an MBA, some other MBA is also attending the same interview. He is talking technically and you are not talking technically. You will lose the job. Be very sure about that. In the same interview, I am getting one BA graduate and I'm also getting you who is an MBA graduate. BA graduate is giving me some technical terms properly. You did not give, I'll definitely reject you even though you are an MBA. Therefore, you cannot say like, sir, I'm from non-technical background. That's fact. Nobody can deny it. But you want a job in software side? So how you can say that I don't know technical terms? So I'm not saying that you should be specialist in cryptography. You should be marvelous wizards in security. But actual reality to what we demand, at least you should know. There were so many queries we fired, man. Show me at least one query where we had a question like, do you know this function? Without using any function's name in the process of our statements, I think the problems were asked and you have to provide the solutions. So now, what is your style of practicing your Oracle? Let me leave it on your shoulders now, okay? I just don't know. So those are some combinations I just want to brush up so that we can catch up like the way you have to practice. Now all these days we are working with what? Single row functions. Now single row functions will work in which style? Single row functions will work in which style? They always work in every row that is available, returning result for every row. But you just understand one thing very carefully. There is one area of system in databases and real-time business environment which is called aggregated state of data. Before I am starting the aggregation of the data, I want to make one point very clear. We are getting into the other level of understanding the business systems now. Your understanding functions or not, that's not my concentration. With these functions, you have to understand the system implementation standards first of all. Any organization in the world will have three levels. Lower level management, middle level management and top level management. By using atomic data, we are answering always the lower level management. By aggregating the data, we are answering the middle level management now. So aggregation or group functions are nothing but these functions return a single row based on groups of rows. These functions are always returning a single row based on groups of rows. Means you supply some n number of rows of data to this function. It treats all those rows as one single group and returns you one value. So here we are using some specific terminology which you should basically capture now. Data in the table is always in atomic form. There are situations where the end user may demand the atomic data that is existing in the table presented as aggregated form. So we are just answering to those levels. Therefore here what is happening now, the state of granularity differences are arising now. So these functions can appear only in certain areas. One is the select list, the next is the having clause. Can we use functions in where clause?
Yes.
Can we use functions in where clause?
Yes.
Yes. But always remember one thing, you can always use single row functions in where clause but not group functions. So when you want to implement a filter by group function, the filter by group function should be implemented only by using what? Having clause. So these functions operate on sets of rows to give one result per group. When you implement these functions, they are taking some set of records of data, and for the entire set of records of data, it will return one result for the entire group of the data. Their sets may be the whole table, or the table can be split into multiple groups also. This is a very important point to check. When you say that it's a group, group can be the whole data in the table as one single group. Or within the table we can split the data into multiple groups also. Means a group can contain what now? Subgroups. So how you look into the system is very important. This is totally an Oracle class, one group. But I can even see like Oracle students with MBA as academic background, that is a subgroup of academics. Oracle students with BTech as academic background, that is one more subgroup of academics. Oracle with the BTech students of computer sciences, a subgroup once again on the academics has started. So how many number of times you can divide your data in the system into multiple groups. Therefore, first you have to always understand the system by its existence, and then you should understand the subgroups that will be adapted or that will be implemented. So we have to develop more of system knowledge now. There are simple guidelines now. When a group is operating, group can be a collection of unique data, or group can be a collection of duplicated data also. But when your aggregate functions are working, are you expecting the aggregate function to work with the total number of records, including the duplicates, or only the distinct values in that particular data? So normally by default is in that group, total number of values that are existing will be adapted. But technically, if you think that it should not take all the values, it should take only certain values which are distinct, you use that distinct keyword. Be very clear about that. And group functions do not have anything like character type group functions, number type group functions, and date type group functions. According to the type of the group function, on certain data types only it can work. But we don't divide group functions into character, number, and date based. They can work generally for any data type, but with the common sense, we should know which can be better on which data type. Next, maximum number of group functions are mathematical. Mathematical means what? Sum. It is adding up. Average. It's adding and dividing. It is a major number of group functions are mathematical. Whenever you do some mathematical operation, if a null value comes, what is happening?
Null propagation.
Null is propagated. But remember, all group functions are designed in such a way that it will not get affected by nulls. Means null management is intelligently known to the group functions. Therefore, null propagations will not take place when you are dealing with group functions. And whenever a group function is declared in the select statement, this point you have to definitely catch very, very seriously. Else, it will affect you in major number of areas and you'll never know why your mistakes are coming. Whenever a group function is declared in the select statement, that select statement should not contain a single row column declaration at any point of time. If at all you are thinking that along with the group function, the select statement should contain a single row, then a special kind of clause called as group by clause should be implemented by you. So what I am expecting or what I am trying to speak with you is very simple, man, okay? You just need to catch few things. I am saying select ename comma sal from EMP. Now how many number of records of output we will get?
14 records.
14. Yes or no? All these days, this is 14 records of information for us. That's true. Nobody can deny that. But now, we are changing our state of thinking now. These are 14 atomic values. Means, the total data is in a granularity of 14. It's in a granularity of what? 14. Now, I want the total sum of the salaries of these employees. Catch my words carefully. I want the total sum of the salaries of employees. So my sum should include how many values?
14
values. Means it's working on how many granularities? 14 granules. Returns how many values?
One
value. Is 14 granules of data operated to become an aggregation of single granule. Therefore, whenever a group function is implemented, the granularity is changing. Therefore, within the select statement, if a group function is there, single row function should not be there. Sir, what do you mean by this? Now you are watching me along with the functions, I will make the things clear to you. The first function I am taking is average, where it can always calculate the averages very effectively, you don't need to worry. Means what? I am saying select average of sal from EMP. General formula of average is what? Sum of all the elements divided by number of elements. So definitely I think on this I am working now. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sum of all the elements, how many elements? 14 elements divided by 14. Result is how much? 1 element. I am not talking on the value. The result is 1 element. Means I was working on 14 granules of the data to an aggregated state called as average, which returns me only 1 granule of the data. When this is a single granule of the data, you just watch, I am saying ename. Ename is how many granules? 14 granules. Average of sal is how many granules? 1 granule. Both cannot be together. Are you understand the construct now? You are forgetting any point I am saying in group functions, group by clause, having clause. Next 3 topics. If you are forgetting any particular point, I can always promise you 40% of the next part of the course will be problem for you. 40% in many chapters will have trouble. Definitely I will not answer you at fundamentals anywhere, because you have to come along with me, that's it. Even now we have 90% syllabus left over. Be very sure about it, okay? Not even 10% have covered until now. So, I don't promise you anything in, say, like a single day process. But my preparations to my next 90% will close very soon. Means my raw material will be concluded. Then I will see how many heads will continue with me. So, you have to keep every point I am speaking very properly. So, technically try to catch up on the issues now. Whenever an aggregated function is applied, it is converting the multi-granular state to single granular state. Therefore, along with a multi-granular criteria, means whenever we are going in this average, it's a single granular result, a multi-granular value should not be there. If it is there, we have another rule. We will come to that rule. Now, I am having salaries of employees who are having similar salaries or no? Yes. Here all the values are included or not included? All the values are included. If you think that you don't want to include all the values, under such circumstances you can always say average of distinct of sal. So when you say this, you watch, your average has changed or not? Out of 2 3000s, 3000 is not accepted. Out of 2 1250s, 1250 is not accepted. So you think that your aggregation should not include duplicated values multiple times, you will use distinct. This distinct is not equal to the distinct what we used long back. That was distinct to suppress the records and duplication. This is distinct to suppress the values for aggregation. My words are very clear to the process. So you cannot say, sir, that distinct, that was that distinct only. This is this distinct only. Remember that, okay? Don't make unwanted useless comparisons now. So this distinct is for aggregation state, that distinct was for record state. So in the place of this distinct, can I use what you said long back, like we can apply unique also. According to the construct of the ANSI, you can call both the issues. But Oracle's convention is which convention? Distinct convention. Next thing, salary column contains any kind of, what I mean to say is, null values, or it's not going to contain any null values? It is not containing any null values. But I am saying average of commission. Commission contains nulls or no?
Yes.
And average is a mathematical calculation or non-mathematical calculation? Mathematical. If you just watch, Oracle never goes for any propagations. So, whenever you have any nulls, nulls are never going to affect the group functions. So, group functions know how to deal with the nulls whenever they are working with what? Calculations. In one single select statement, any number of group functions can be there. Why? All are returning equal granularity of the data. They should not contain single rows. but they can contain any number of group functions, because all group functions will return what? Equal granularity of data. Therefore, the granularity states are not got by you have confusions. And in the same way we have sum function. Sum function is nothing but which calculates everything to the process. If you just watch, I am saying sum of salary, then I am saying sum of commissions. So, you can call multiple functions in the process by saying average of salary at a time. With you can directly go on the construct with average of commission of the process. So, any number of group functions can come together, and it's general common sense that sum and average functions will work only for which data type? Number data type. Therefore, it is a common sense that we should tell us which function is suitable for what. No shortcuts on the issues. Be very, very clear about the process. Now we have maximum function, minimum function. Now these two functions go hand in hand. So what do you mean by this now? You just watch it through the process. I am calling max of sal and I am calling max of commission. The same way, I can call the min of sal and we can call the min of commission. So, we can pick up the maximum and minimum anytime very easily. Is another clear proof that null is neither maximum nor minimum. Null is not considerable value. Be very, very clear about it. So I am saying that I can catch my minimum and maximum at a time or not. In the same specification you can just want, we are calling the construct with, suppose say max of sal and I can say min of sal at a time. Means combination is your, until the granularities are not mismatching you can do anything. So, maximum and minimum are not only for numbers, they can be used on characters also. So, what do you mean by this one? We are saying max of ename, then I am saying min of ename. It will work on the concept of ASCII and it will give you the information on the process. So, by max of ASCII W, my min of ASCII is what? Adams. The same way, you can call your max and min with max of higher date and then you are going with the construct with min of higher date. And the higher dates are internally which kind of data min? Tell me. I also know that they are data
Number.
Higher dates are internally what? Julians. So, on the Julians it will catch up and it will work out. What is the maximum? That is latest and the oldest. So you can always catch your differences, and this data what you are having, you can always use it for operational purpose according to your requirement. You are saying maximum higher date with the alias here, and then you are going with the minimum of the higher date with the process. And then if you are expecting through the issues, you can always say max of higher date minus min of higher date. Two dates when they are subtracted, what is the construction? N number of days. So, whatever result is returned by the groups, it can be used by you. The same constraint, you can just call down once again by saying what now? You can just take it to the further level and you can say months between these two functions together, where I am just trying to keep this as comma. So I am not calculating the number of months now. So group functions and single row functions, they are working together. And you are taking this properly to the process and you are catching up this composition, and you can just come out with, and I am just trying to say trunk. So I am directly going down and I'm saying that truncate the process. Okay, this is what you're trying to do, divided by 12. So what we are getting now? N years. So nesting and everything is your own common sense now. You are practicing to the subject or you are practicing to the concepts with integration. I am making the timetable very clear to you. If any student is working now at 3 hours or something is wrong, now your timetable is definitely 4 hours a day you have to sit. You are not sitting for minimum 4 hours a day. Forget your job even in 2014, okay? Because 2013 is completing. So when I 2015, if your luck favors and you are practicing seriously, else what happens, sir? Forget 2020. So you have to put your efforts. Else your money is wasted, your time is wasted sitting in the classes. Therefore, these functions they can work on which data type that you should check. And actually about statistical functions I won't speak because we have one separate chapter for that. But in old versions of Oracle, only 2 statistical functions were there, standard deviation and variance. Today Oracle has more better functions than these things. Very highly advanced group functions. We have one chapter totally dedicated for advanced levels of group functions at some stage. When I feel you are looking mature, I will be adding up that. So, when you come to the count function will count the number of records for you. In any particular table, we can associate and we can work. You just watch, I'm saying select count of star and we are saying from EMP. It will count the total number of records that are available. You can even take a count in such a way that you can count a specific column also, but remember it's not counting number of records, it's counting the number of values in that column. I have 14 employee numbers. This is a record count, this is a value count. Don't compare both because the value result is same. So count can be called on individual columns also or not. So I can definitely say count of sal, comma, count of commission. You just watch carefully. It says the total salaries are 14, commissions are only 4. So count is considering the nulls or it's not considering the nulls?
Not considering.
Considering or not considering?
Not considering.
Not considering. Yes or no? You should be on that particular word continuously. Okay? So count can be on the total records. When you want on the records, you will go with what? Asterisk. And when you want on a specific column, you will go with what? Column names. Now here you should understand, select, I am saying count of 1. And I am going with from EMP. So it is giving me 14. What's happening here? Can you tell me? First column.
No.
So be very careful. You forgot one fundamental point, you will give wrong answers here, okay? So this question reflects directly to your literals. One of the very important property about literal we said, but what is that?
It will repeat.
One very important property we said about literal. Don't say sir it's a constant, no, okay, that's not very important property.
That will repeat for the
Literal will repeat for every record that is returned from the database. So this one is repeated how many times internally? 14 times. Therefore, it is giving you the count as 14. Therefore, count can be even taken with the literals as a process. So, it is saying that A was repeated 14 times in your table, sorry, not in the table, on the table when you are executing. Therefore, count should contain only asterisk, count should contain only column names is not a rule. Count can be even associated with what? Constants as literals. If it is numerical constant, we declare directly. If it is a character constant, we should keep it in what? Single quotes. Now, how it is working, you want to get your idea, you should remember the rule of the literal here. Now, specifically, there is one construct. Okay, I just want to catch up one thing now. I am creating one table only for our requirement. Create table sample. SAMP ID number of 2. Then we are having SAMP name. I am saying varchar 2 of 10. Then I am having SAMP date. I am saying date. How many columns I am having in this table now? 3. Now I am inserting the records. Insert into sample, and I am saying SAMP ID, comma, SAMP name, comma, SAMP date. And I am saying values null, comma, null, comma, null. Okay, I am giving all the values as what? Nulls. Okay, one null record is created. Catch the point very carefully. I am running this once again. Another null record is created. Then we are running once again. The third null record that's created. This is your fourth null record that's created. You are saying select star from sample. Can you tell me what should be my output now? No rows selected or 4 rows selected? No rows selected or 4 rows selected? Definitely 4 rows will be there. Are you catching the point? Therefore, no rows selected is not equal to null records. Are you catching the point now? Be very, very clear about these constructs. Now I am saying select count of star. Now count considers the nulls or it will not considers the nulls? Not considers the nulls. Just now we have seen on the commission. So now it should give me count as what? 0 or no rows. Now it gives you 4. This is where it will keep you in trouble, asking you count considers the nulls or it will not considers the nulls. It considers or it will not consider? Considers.
Sometimes
Not considers. It is not considering why it's saying 4 no. So be careful, man, okay? Especially I am telling you, for freshers it's not a problem. People keeping 4+ years, you do blunders in these areas, 100% take experience. You can't speak illogical if you are keeping experience, I am telling you. That's what I say, resume will be high-tech city, man. So wonderful you can't even believe. The person will be sitting in front of us, you ask him a question, Amirpet will come out. He opens the mouth, you can see Maitrivanam to Satyam Theatre Junction. Can you see? So you can't keep your resumes in high-tech city and open your mouth in Amirpet now. Be very clear. So you have to learn courses here, but your mind should work out to the rule of the reality. So you should always say, sir, count always considers the nulls when it is record-based counting. It is record-based counting. When the total record is a null record, count considers nulls. If it is a value-based counting, value means what? Column-based counting. It's a column-based counting. Then definitely you just watch. I am saying select count of. I just want to check count of. I am saying SAMP ID from sample. Now I am going with column based counting or not?
yes.
So now it's saying 0. So count has 2 dual factor, means it's polymorphic. Therefore when you are applying count, you are applying count for record wise or you are applying count for value based, means column based. According that you should give your answer. See, you forget about your answers now, I am not bothered about it. When you are working in your projects, these all things will affect you in bugging, debugging. You don't remember the behavior, it's a bug. Bug correction is not that simple. Syntactical correction can be done very easily, bug correction cannot be done so easily. Why? Because bug is a logical error. If your total program is say like 25,000 lines, how you know in which line the bug is generated? If it is 3-4 lines, you can do it, man. But projects you're working, your module is of 25,000 lines and a bug is there. How you can know the result of 25,000 lines is wrong because of which line in your 25,000 lines? So, functions by their behaviors, not functions by their declarations. Group functions are not difficult, but group function behaviors, if you don't keep it in your mind, we just started, time and again I will prove to you, group functions can be a nightmare if we don't remember the rules. So, in the coming days what happens, let me tell you very frankly, in all these days what happened is, we decided on one rule and the rule was standard continuously. Now our course changes very quick now. I will tell you the rule at this minute and in another 5 minutes the rule changes. Dynamically the rules will be changing now. If you are not coming synchronized with me on rules that are changing very quick, the problem will not be in the classroom. After the class is completed, in the evening somewhere you are sitting and practicing it, the errors what you get, the results why you are getting like that, you cannot remember them because you are missing the link between the rules I told you now. So, your actual success to your course begins from how you come along with me from group by class. Until now what has happened, it's only preparation I can say. But from here our reality starts for this course. And from here we are going deep into the process now. You can start counting your success and failure of this course, what you have attempted from this chapter. So, definitely you should be in the class when I am in the class, and for all those heads that are regularly coming late by your 10 minutes or 15 minutes or half an hour, I don't know, because I never stop a student coming into the class. We keep the door open. Losing your class by at least 5 minutes is your risk. Because in that 5 minutes, if I discussed any serious rule and you missed it, and to understand what is happening on that, it will take minimum 5 days for you later on. Therefore, people who are late to the classes, regularly I can find which faces are coming late, and it's so ridiculous. I have seen some objects which are at least sometimes half an hour late also sometimes. Now that's your problem, I don't stop you because your money, your time, you have to learn. So you better check out. Generally that's the reason 10 to 15 minutes relaxation I have already given to start my class. Else not 7 I'll start. But technically I'll have an issue from the management saying that sir, just see that you're 5 or 10 minutes late. So with that will be coming. So for the students who are late, I can't help them. When you come and ask me a question, definitely I will know in which area you have missed. The moment my brain says that you missed that, I simply say like, who told you not to be in the class? So let us shake the hands properly from here at least, seriously such that you can take your success very effectively. So let me see how you are getting ready for the state of the group by operations. In next 10 minutes, if I am hurrying up, I can close this. Okay? So I don't do that because this is an area where we take a very big turn in thinking. So for my convenience, to complete a topic, I am not going to keep my process like that. But definitely, we are closing up this issue with having. In the coming week, I am getting into how to design a database. It's nothing but tables in a more effective way. Long back, I think we left with one promise. What does that mean? We know how to create a table. We want to make them entities. I'm moving into that now. So, the next week will definitely tell us how best we can be good database developers. And after that, how best we can be good database programmers. So from here, let me see how you'll start rolling along with me. Thank you. And I hope you remember 24 hours back I said, tomorrow we are meeting. Now you feel that it's Sunday and you sleep, definitely I will come on the process. So missing heads will not be attended separately, specially. Remember that. Okay? Thank you once again. Tomorrow it's exactly 7.